Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another episode of the Yakking Show, the Harmony, Your Path to Wholeness channel. And we bring you interesting guests to help you lead that life of wholeness mentally, physically, spiritually, and in all other ways. And today will be no exception. But first, let's introduce co-host Kathleen Beauvais. Hi, Kathleen. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you. And thank you also very much for tuning into our show. We so appreciate having you. And as Peter mentioned, we have another special guest with us today. We are privileged to welcome Tom Paladino to the show. Hello, Tom. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you, Kathleen. Peter, thank you so much.
Now, Tom is a researcher and humanitarian seeking to bring scalar light healing to the world. And today he's here to yak with us about scalar light and how it can help people in various ways. So let's just jump right in, Tom. Can you please explain what scalar light is and how you are able to harness it specifically?
Yeah, thank you. This is very straightforward. Scalar energy is the energy of the sun and the stars. It's that simple. It's not electricity. There's another type of energy that drives the stars, which is scalar energy. Some people call that life force energy. Now, I have been fortunate enough to work with engineers to the point where now I can harness that energy through an instrument. Behind me, I'm in my lab, is a scalar light instrument that's harnessing the energy from the stars. So what really is peculiar about this energy, it does not behave like electricity. It's not of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Mhm.
And the potential of scalar energy far exceeds that of electricity, of the electromagnetic spectrum.
And
Wow.
you behind you, you're pointing behind you. Is there something that you can specifically?
Yep. Yes. This is a scalar energy instrument. I'm going to point to it. You'll notice that
Okay.
there's no moving parts. This instrument is capturing the energy from the stars. The kinetic energy is from the stars. There is no armature. There's no induction motor. That energy from the instrument is then funneled, pulsed into these Tesla coils. It's actually pulsing. The energy is so strong, if I hold a light bulb close to the Tesla coil, it illuminates
Wow.
under the influence of the instrument. There's so much energy. So that is, if you will, a brief overview of a miniature star. That's what I have my ability to control the energy of the stars.
Wow. That is quite amazing. I haven't seen that, what you've just shown us with the light bulb. I haven't seen that done before. So, Tom, help me out here. I'm a fairly down to earth sort of guy with a farming background and know a little bit about nutrients and enzymes. How can a non-physical source
Yes.
improve enzymes, nutrients, and general well-being? Explain that one to me.
Okay. That's a good point. So when I'm working with this energy, all of my work is informational. It's non-physical.
Hmm.
When I work, I don't work with people. I work with force fields on a photograph. I'm going to hold
Okay.
up my photograph. My photograph has an energy field of what some people call an aura. Okay. My force field is on that photograph. I actually print out a photograph of a person and I place it inside the instrument.
Hmm.
That photograph, my photograph now is being immersed in a scalar energy force field. And I can feel that energy because, if you will, if this instrument acts like the transmitter, then I'm the receiver in the
Okay.
sense of information. Again, we're not working at the physical level, we're working at the level of information. Now, let's say I wanted to give myself the energy of riboflavin.
Hmm.
I'm going to hold up a photograph, a magnified photograph of B2,
Okay.
riboflavin. It's magnified. And in so doing, I can capture the energy field of riboflavin. And if I place my photograph side by side the photograph of riboflavin, I receive the energy of riboflavin, not the chemical, the energy of
The
riboflavin.
energy. Okay.
I receive my multivitamins through energy. I don't take a multivitamin pill. I'm at a different level, I think a higher level, a much more efficient level in which I can actually receive the energy of the vitamin, not the chemical. So every day I'm working with this program, this standardized program, and I work with people around the world. They email me their photograph, and I download the energy of vitamins into their force field, into their energy field. The fact that I work with energy, there's no mistake. You never can have
Hmm.
an overdose
Mhm.
because you're imparting intelligence. You cannot have an overdose of information, intelligence. So the practice is safe. This is a new branch of physics in which we don't eat food, we don't ingest any type of nutrient. This is in no way biochemical. We're working at the level of information. We deliver nutrients by light, by energy.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And
Wow.
so a lot of people would ask, is scalar light based in science then?
Yes, because it follows the laws of science. This is a scientific instrument. It follows the laws of science. Now, this is not the science that's being taught yet at the university level.
Hmm.
We're still working with Newtonian physics, electromagnetic energy.
Mhm.
What's my point? There's two energies. I work with scalar energy exclusively. I do not work with electricity. There have been scientists who've engineered instruments that control this energy. Once you can engineer and control the energy, that's scientific proof as far as I'm concerned, because you're following the laws of science. I follow the laws of science with the scalar energy instrument. But again, to reiterate, we're not teaching this yet at the university level.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, Tom, if this energy is coming from the sun and the stars, why can't we access it ourselves without a complicated piece of apparatus like your machine?
We do. And how common is scalar energy? It's responsible for thought. A thought is non-physical. This is
Right.
non-physical energy. A thought transcends time and space. You can think, and that energy expands throughout the universe. This energy transcends time and space. It cannot be impeded by anything. So what's my point? Thought, prayer, meditation, creativity, even feelings are scalar waves, are emanations of scalar energy. And how can I prove that? Many times people tell me when I turn this instrument on, it uplifts them. It improves their emotional disposition. It makes them happier. How can I do that through a photograph? Well, apparently the photograph is communicating with the scalar wave and it's acting upon their psyche because it's non-physical information.
Okay. Wow.
So
Yes.
it's, yeah, I know it's one it's a mind bender, isn't it, Peter? It really
And
is.
it is. It's a complete mind bender. Yeah, yeah.
But Tom, you've tell us about some of the programs you've created to help people. For example, I know that you have one program for fat metabolism and you
Yep.
have one for addictive behavior. How exactly does it work?
Yeah, that's a good point. So again, we always go back to the principle of light. I always administer light. Let's say somebody came to me and they had a hormone imbalance. Let's say a woman had a hormone imbalance. I would take a photograph of estrone, a female hormone, and I would download that hormone into the person. Now, I'm going to use my photographs as an example, but nonetheless, I can always impart the energy of any chemical by way of the ether, by way of intelligence. Taking a photograph of a chemical, I don't administer the physical component, I administer the energy behind the chemical. I believe the energy behind the chemical, responsible for the chemical, is much more important than the actual physical chemical itself. So I've developed programs for female hormones, for male hormones, programs for digestive enzymes, for fat metabolism, and it's very simple. It's very straightforward. Here's a photograph of glutathione. If I wanted
Mhm.
to download glutathione, or here's one leptin, this hormone
Mhm.
is responsible for weight management. I would take a photograph of leptin, place it in the instrument next to my photograph. So instead of consuming leptin, leptin is downloaded into my quantum field.
But
It's
how would
always
you know if that person is deficient in a specific hormone and if you're
right.
just administering the energy of it? Are you
I don't.
okay?
I let the energy work at the level of energy, not at the chemical level. So this instrument working at the level of intelligence never administers a chemical. So there's never a chemical overdose. When you're working with light, the light seems to have some type of inbuilt intelligence because I've never experienced a negative side effect. And frankly, it's impossible because we're not working at the chemical physical level. So
Mhm.
you can't think of
Mhm.
this as a chemical transmission. It's a transmission of information. The information of leptin enters into me. Now, when I practice this, this is how I receive my nutrients. I don't have multivitamin packs every day. I have superior nutrition. So I am proving that the level of nutrition starts at the informational level. The chemical level is the consequence. It's the effect. Well, all of my work is at the level of cause, information, not at the level of effect, the physical chemical reaction.
Okay, I'm going to pick up on continue from Kathleen's thoughts there, in that when someone, let's suppose I send you my photograph and I say, Tom, I've got a weight problem. And that I don't know why, but I've tried a diet, this, that, next thing. How do you know which of the trace elements, nutrients, enzymes I might be lacking to select the right photograph for me? How do you know that?
I don't. And so what do? I include, for instance, we have a nutrient program in which we're able to download nutrients, just a general nutrient program. I download over 350 nutrients because I have over 350 photographs, magnified photographs of micronutrients. I let the energy adjudicate how much energy you need of those nutrients.
Okay.
To be very clear, there's no human input with my work. And thank God there isn't, because I sometimes I treat tens of thousands of people in a day. There's no way I could possibly prescribe their nutritional needs. Working with energy, the energy makes that decision.
Okay. Okay, so you've just used the example there of a picture with 350 nutrients, but earlier you were talking about glutathione and was it lipsin?
Yes.
When would you use those two? What would you need to know to use those two?
Yeah, that's a good point. So for instance, glutathione is included in my micronutrient program. It's also included in my weight loss.
Okay.
So I look through medical textbooks and I look at the action, the chemical action of various hormones, various neurotransmitters, etc. And those that have a specific action for fat metabolism, I'll include in the fat metabolism program.
Okay.
Obviously, the micronutrients that we believe we need just for standard living, just for what I would consider standard health, would be in the nutrient program. So the key is, on my end, I have to supply the necessary information. And then in application, I have nothing to do with the application of the energy. The energy decides that. Leaving outside of the equation, leaving outside of the equation any human thought, any human interaction. So my work is mistake proof because there's no human action. It's all energy action. Energy does not make a mistake. Working at the level of information, not at the human level, working with energy, energy is fundamental and it never makes a mistake.
Okay, so but there's an element of human action in that you need to select photographs for the person. So, but that would depend on what your patient or your client tells you up front, right? So if the person knows they have a hormone problem, for instance, that steers you down the track initially.
I would say this. My programs are standardized. For instance, I'm going to go back to the nutrient program. I have over 350 photographs of various type of nutrients that have been considered to be beneficial to human health.
Okay.
So I take those 350 nutrients in photographic form, and I believe they're going to be beneficial in quantum health, not biological health, in quantum health. So on my part, it's deductive reasoning that far. But as far as, again, the application of those photographs, it's a force field. Riboflavin has a force field. Beta carotene has an energy field, a force field. The application is out of my hands. It's simply, if you will, administered by the energy.
Okay, no, that part of it I understand. That's fine. So here's one for you. Is it possible to convert scalar energy to some form of motion or physical energy? In other words, I know you've told me it's not electromagnetic. I accept that. Can that force field be used to move an object, for instance?
Yes, I'm working on that. And my predecessor, Nicoa Tesla, was able to do that.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Thank you. Tesla developed a car that he ran off of star power. Purportedly, he had a typical car it was, I believe, a Pierce Arrow car that had a
Yeah.
motor. He took the motor out of this model, this Pierce Arrow, and he replaced it with a scalar energy motor, so to speak. So it wasn't a combustion motor. And Nikola Tesla was able to drive that car on star energy. So that car apparently turned his transmission. That energy turned his transmission, and he had motion. Without the need of a combustion engine, he used instead a scalar energy engine.
Wow. And critically without a battery too, right?
Yes, exactly. The battery are the stars. Now, you see the big picture. Why don't we go back and revisit Tesla's work? He had a functioning car that worked off of stars.
Yeah.
Would that solve our problems today?
Oh, absolutely.
I think the powers that be don't want that, but I might be digressing there.
No, they don't.
So Tom, what types of results have you seen with the power of scalar energy?
Well, here's one, for instance. I can direct the energy, I can instruct it. I'm going to hold up a photograph of the herpes virus. That's a magnified photograph. That has an energy field. If I place my energy field photograph close to the photograph of herpes inside the instrument, the two energy fields communicate. If I had the herpes virus, the signal, the energy of herpes on my photograph, the instrument would find the herpes virus, identify it, and destroy it, remove it, bring it to a state of chaos.
And to be clear, you are not giving somebody herpes virus.
Correct. I'm identifying the energy field, and then I'm eradicating that energy. I'm bringing the energy to a state of chaos. Everything is energy. It's non-physical. All of my work are signals.
And then for those people who think, well, okay, so it eradicates it, but can you also give somebody a disease?
Not that I've ever experienced, no.
Right.
No.
Right.
This instrument is designed to identify a microbe, in this case a virus, on a person's force field, their energy field, and eradicate it. And again, it's not a chemical process. Now I'm going to show you quickly. Here's one of the test results of a person who submitted their photograph. After working with me, this person had a follow-up PCR test.
Okay.
And the PCR test shows no viral load for herpes. Now that's typical of the people that I work with. That process, you cannot explain this by way of Newtonian physics.
Right.
This is not medicine. This is not Newtonian physics. This is a new science in which we need new terminologies. We need a new working model.
And have you had clients that have lost enormous amounts of weight because you were doing the fat metabolism program on them? How is
the fat metabolism? It usually shows a weight loss of up to 5 pounds a month. So it's nothing dramatic.
Well, that's dramatic, I think.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Now, keep in mind, I'm sending the energy into the body that promotes what I consider to be the right energy field for fat metabolism. In addition, when people receive these nutrients, such as, let's say they're going to be receiving glutathione or any type of hormone, it seems to suppress their appetite. When I treat myself with these instruments, I don't have the appetite that I used to. And so people start missing a meal. Well, that's quite advantageous. If you start missing a meal, if you're not so hungry, then you're not going to put on weight. And this is what so many people have told me, that receiving energy of nutrients decreases your appetite.
Right. So no need for Ozempic, huh?
Yes. Well, for some people, they say they don't need drugs. Now, I can't go against the medical community.
No, I understand.
And I can't make a comparison, but a lot of people have told me that they've given up on pharmaceuticals, that they would much rather receive information in their quantum field.
Yes.
I can't express this enough. We all have an energy field, which is, if you will, superior to our biological field. And the way I compare this, let's say you're an architect. Before you build something, you have architectural plans, information. And the information that you have, architectural plans, then renders a physical building. Well, that's what I'm working with. I have the architectural plans of a person. And the architectural plans, the intelligence, eventually, I think, leads to the physical makeup.
Wow. Tom, what about things that are not diseases or deficiencies as such? And I'm talking about somebody with anxiety or mental disorder. Can you use this energy to help them?
Yes. Many people have told me that after a month or two, having this energy, we call it a chakra balancing, that they're calmer. Some people say it's lifted their depression. Now, those are anecdotal reports, but nonetheless, we've had thousands of anecdotal reports that are comparable to that. So by way of that anecdotal analysis, many people say that this energy has calmed them. It's given them a sense of security. Some people have said it's lifted their depression, their anxiety. It's helped them with school. They have a greater sense of concentration. Some people said it's made their autistic children more communicative.
Wow.
So the new science that we're venturing into, I think this is going to be the pathway for you for mental health.
Excellent. That's good news. What about cancer?
Well, here's my theory, real quickly. If this is a scalar wave, I'm going to demonstrate. This is a photograph of a scalar wave. You see it's a double helix.
Yep.
That's a Tesla coil. Well, what does that remind you of? It looks like DNA as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Okay. So if I have a scalar wave, I believe it's the cause of our DNA. I'll repeat. This is a scalar wave. It's a time-lapse photograph of a scalar wave. It's
Okay.
If you look at our DNA, it's likewise a double helix scalar wave.
Yes.
It's my contention that scalar energy from the stars creates and maintains our DNA. There's just too many similarities between the effect. Okay? If my theory is correct, the correct amount of scalar wave should correct our DNA. If that theory holds true, then a scalar wave should be able to correct some type of mutation, any type of cancer or tumor. I haven't proven that yet, but that's my theory.
Okay, interesting. Wow. This is a lot to get my head around. What about, Tom, I would guess then that your scalar energy would help animals, other mammals, as well as it helps humans.
Yes, I'll give the audience a for instance. Somebody sent me a photograph of a kangaroo in Australia. And the kangaroo had bacterial infection, probably viral infection. After 1 month of working with that photograph of a kangaroo, the report came back from Australia that the kangaroo was healthy without any signs of bacterial infection anymore. So can I reach a force field in Australia? Most likely, yeah. I think I can reach a force field anywhere in the universe.
Fascinating.
That is quite amazing. Wow, kangaroo. Because I know from it's a different field, but I know I've seen people who do Reiki, for instance, work on horses and seen those horses sigh with relaxation and relief that the pain in their back is gone. And you can't fool a horse, right? And I've seen it with dogs as well. So it's not auto-suggestion. That's why I'm quite happy to accept that you could fix the kangaroo half the world away. Yeah.
That's a good point. This is not auto-suggestion because I follow the laws of science.
Yeah.
Sure, there is auto-suggestion. Yes, there's a placebo effect. But the overarching consideration is the energy from the stars is fundamental. And only God could create that energy of the stars.
Right.
Right. All right. Which leads me on to the question that I wanted to ask you. Is there a possibility of conflict between Christian principles and the use of this energy?
No, because God created scalar energy. I'm a Christian, and I say to myself, all of this goes hand in hand. The God of science is the God of religion. If something is a law of science, then God is the judge, the lawgiver of science. If we have immutable laws, it's from God.
Right.
I agree with you 100%. I agree, but I ask the question because I know there are some people who see a huge distinction between God and anything that relates to science or is whatever. So, and let's put our audience's mind at rest. Thank you.
I'm gonna proffer this to the audience. The Ark of the Covenant was a scalar energy instrument.
Okay.
The reason Moses and the Israelites could achieve incredible feats, incredible miracles with the Ark of the Covenant, it was not electricity. The
Right.
Ark of the Covenant was a scalar energy instrument. It's the presence of God. It's divine energy.
Right. Oh my
Very
goodness.
good. Interesting. Wow, Tom, thank you for
Is.
that. Wow.
It is. And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but please tell us, how do people contact you?
Yeah, the website scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Anybody in the world can upload a photograph. We're going to treat you and your family for free for 15 days. You simply email us a photograph.
Wow.
Free sessions for
Well,
include your pets, and if you have a kangaroo, send a photograph of your kangaroo.
That's a very, very generous offer.
It is.
Thank you for that, Tom. And we will put that for our audio listeners. That will be in the description on whatever platform you are listening to this on. So for me, Tom, thank you so much. It's given me a real huge amount to think about. I do appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks to our audience for listening. And again, we've had a fantastic guest on today, give you all lots of information. Make sure you don't miss out on future guests we have coming. Hop onto our website, theyakkingshow.com, hit the purple button, top or bottom of the homepage, and sign up for our newsletter. We only send you one email a week, and we tell you who's on this week and who's coming next week. And that's it for me. Thanks again, Tom. Bye to our audience. Back to Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Tom. And once again, thank you also very much for tuning in to our show. If anyone is interested in being a guest on our show, we invite you again to visit us at theyakkingshow.com. All you need to do is click on the contacts tab where you will find a short application form, and we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.